Hi there, and welcome to Fuzzy on the Details. My name is Fuzzy, and today we're going to be talking about headquarters in the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game, both the rules as written and how easily you can expand them into something even more engaging and fun for your players. At first glance, there isn't a lot to go on in the rules. We have a headquarters tag, and like most tags which a character can get for free either during character creation or later in the game, there are no mechanical benefits in the description. The tag reads, "The character has a base, cave, or lair that they can use to recover from wounds, repair or store equipment, work on inventions, and so on." Let's investigate each of these 4 explicit examples and how they tie into the rest of the rules, but keep that "and so on" phrase in mind, because I consider that an invitation to expand the application of these rules. But let's ground ourselves in what the book says first. First up, recovering from wounds. Healing requires a character to take it easy or sleep. Taking it easy isn't well defined in the rules, but I think it's safe to say that any time spent in one's headquarters should qualify. The team's headquarters should also allow heroes to sleep safely, doubling up on healing, and I think it's a safe assumption that all headquarters should have enough rooms for the entire party to sleep comfortably. Repairing equipment. There isn't a lot of equipment in the game at present, but that will change with future expansions, as we can see from the Spider-Verse description on Amazon. But we already have some rules for repairing things, like the technology that a character relies on for powers as defined in the Tech Reliance trait. The trait says, assuming the character has access to parts and tools. And if the rules also say that the headquarters is where you repair your equipment, it's a safe assumption to say that any headquarters should include the capability for a character with Tech Reliance to repair their equipment. In the new X-Men expansion, we've got vehicle rules that state when a vehicle goes below half its health, it loses speed. And when it reaches 0 health, it is considered broken, but it can still be repaired, so long as it doesn't go to negative its health value. The rules state that, quote, a decent repair shop is needed to repair the vehicle. I think your team's headquarters could certainly qualify for this, especially if you've got characters in the party that frequently use vehicles. And for storing equipment, we've got an easy-to-miss reference to headquarters in the poisoned rule from the X-Men expansion that says many superhero teams have stocks of antivenoms and other medical supplies on hand at their headquarters. Knowing that you have a poison character or NPC in the field, but that the antivenom is back at the HQ, that can make for a pretty thrilling race against time story beat in any adventure. Now, we don't have many rules adjudicating how to work on an invention, at least not yet. Although we do have a reference to inventing gadgets in the definition of logic in the core rulebook. If we ever get a Fantastic Four expansion, I would love to see this fully explored. Moving on from the definition of headquarters, we also know there are additional rules that require or grant access to a particular type of facility, usually with direct mechanical benefits. For example, the Lab Access tag grants access to a well-stocked lab, and the Scientific Expertise trait grants an additional edge to those who have access to it when they're performing scientific research. Similarly, the Investigation trait grants a second edge to characters who have access to a forensics lab, a specific type of lab mentioned in the Lab Access tag. And finally, Team Maneuvers. The Team Maneuvers rule specifically mentions that a headquarters is needed to switch a team maneuver, although it does mention that in a pinch, any safe place could do. Personally, I love all of these little extra bonuses for having access to certain types of facilities. None of the benefits we talked about are close to game-breaking, and in fact, they give characters a reason to spend more time in their headquarters. I wish there were more of them. So, I came up with some. What follows is a list of 20 or so mechanical benefits that your players can get from having a headquarters, each one of them tied to your character's occupation or a specific trait that they have. Now, these are just examples. You can use them as written, or you could and should perhaps adapt these to fit your campaign and party. I hope you guys have as much fun playing with these as I did coming up with them. Be sure to let me know in the comments which ones you think you might use in your campaign. All right, we're going to tackle these in alphabetical order, starting with the adventurer occupation. Sidekicks are a constant in the comics. Inspired by the exploits of a hero, they want to help out in any way they can. A character with the adventurer occupation that is public about their adventures can have either a physical trophy room or perhaps some sort of digital presence that catalogs their adventures. And that could attract a sidekick that could take many forms, from Jarvis the Butler to Lucky the Pizza Dog. This sidekick could be controlled by the PC and/or could help guard or maintain the headquarters while the heroes are away. Assassins are known for attacking under the cover of darkness. A shooting range could help train them in these conditions or maybe give them familiarity with night vision technology. Either way, practicing in this room can eliminate the mechanical drawbacks of firing a weapon in darkness. Some criminals need a way to offload stolen goods, whether it's a physical pawn shop or computer access to the dark web. This room could provide access to hard-to-find or illegal goods like mutant growth hormones from the X-Men expansion or Adhesive X or some other type of homebrewed equipment that fits your campaign. Even the smartest educator could benefit from a well-stocked library, whether it's a traditional book collection, shelves of arcane tomes, or files from a Shi'ar supercomputer. Such access to information could grant a hero an edge on learning or understanding something new. This page covers the lab access benefit that the core rulebook discusses. I'm going to refer to the lab that an engineer gets as a workshop to differentiate it from the scientific laboratory that someone with the scientist occupation would get. Entertainers are a diverse lot, but they all need a place to be creative or hone their craft. Regardless of what you name the room, an entertainer that utilizes it has a chance of gaining the rich tag for a period of time, to represent the windfall from dropping a hot new single or a hilarious new comedy special. Having a healthcare worker in the party should benefit all of the heroes, allowing them to recover more quickly from physical damage and mental fatigue. I recommend all party members functioning as one rank higher than normal when they're using the healing rules. Also, this is a great place to codify that benefit we mentioned in the poison rule, access to antitoxins and other types of medical equipment. So retreating back to one's headquarters could actually save the life of a poisoned hero. Investigators, as discussed, that have access to a forensic lab gain the benefit that the core rulebook describes, an extra edge on investigation checks when using the lab. Any journalist worth their salt needs a place to research their stories, conduct interviews, and write. A research office could grant a journalist an edge when trying to influence their audience, whether it's through the written word, videos, or a podcast. Sometimes a hero needs to be able to hold safely onto a villain until authorities can figure out what to do with them. So a hero with the law enforcement occupation may have the facilities and technology to safely detain even superpowered villains before they can get shipped off to the raft or some other correctional facility. Lawyers need a specialized facility with access to legal texts and even other experts to help work on a case maybe when they're out fighting crime. This room could be a way for an NPC like Foggy Nelson to directly help out the party while allowing the heroes to stay focused on their more exciting work in the field. Leaders often have access to real-time intel that can give them major advantages when planning for the dangers ahead. A situation room can help a party more easily use team maneuvers, reducing their cost by 5. The second type of lab access that the core rulebook talks about is granted to scientists for scientific research using the rules from the CRB. In my campaigns, not everyone has access to military-grade weapons like grenades, but those with a military occupation do, and they can safely store them if they have a weapons locker. If you've got a spy on your team, they could outfit your headquarters with counter-surveillance technology, making it harder for enemies to get the drop on the party, giving all allies an edge when taking part in a combat in the headquarters. Students with a room dedicated to study could boost the benefits they gain from the Quick Learner trait by allowing an immediate retry on a failed action by spending a reaction. Normally, they'd have to wait until a new round to do so. Tycoons operating from their own boardroom can be downright intimidating, and therefore don't suffer the negative effects from the famous trait when they're on their home turf. Now let's talk about something I call combo rooms. Teammates with complementary backgrounds can create these highly specialized rooms that grant even greater benefits. For example, if you have an engineer in your party giving your headquarters a workshop, and someone else in the party also has the piloting trait, you could have a special combo room called the garage. In this case, you could grant a 10% bonus to a vehicle's health or speed for one day. Let's say you had a regular car and a garage, you could boost the speed stat from that car from 20 to 22, or the health from 100 to 110. And you could change this each day. We can take this even a step farther. Let's say that you have a garage in your headquarters and someone with a military background joins your party, contributing a weapons locker to the headquarters. You could then upgrade that garage to a military garage, allowing you to mount weapons or armor on the vehicle, granting that vehicle powers like Sturdy or Elemental Burst. And for an example of a third combo room, let's say you've got a healthcare worker and a scientist in your party. They could work together to create a med lab, granting even more healing benefits in the form of free recovery checks for the party that can come in the form of healing herbs, Wakandan technology, or anything else that you can think of. Basically, these combo rooms are kind of like a thematic bonus for your HQ, rewarding parties that have a specific focus. The guidelines for these combo rooms is left up to the narrator, but I would suggest treating them as separate rooms, and that the total number of rooms should not exceed the number of members in the party. So if you have a 3-person party, a scientist could contribute a lab, a healthcare worker could contribute the infirmary, and the third party member could volunteer their room slot to build the med lab, regardless of their background. There's no need, for example, to have multiple healthcare workers or scientists in the party to get the med lab with your third slot. Another rule suggestion: if your party wants to split your headquarters into separate locations, go for it. There's no reason Daredevil couldn't maintain a law office while Jessica Jones has a forensics lab in her apartment, and have them both still be defenders. There are some benefits to everyone being under one roof, but that doesn't mean every team has to function the same way. And please, tweak these rules however you like. Maybe you want the trophy room to grant 1 henchman per rank, or you want the infirmary to come with a full-time nurse or therapist. I love those ideas, go for it. The important thing is to have fun and maybe feel like you're getting a little more mileage out of your occupation choice. If you guys decide to use these rules, please let me know in the comments how they work out for you, and if you've got any headquarters of your own you want to share, I'd love to see them. Oh, and hey, if you've got a Blue Sky account, I've been posting occasionally there, and I would love to hear from you. I'll put a link in the description. As always, thank you guys so much for your support, and I hope you have a great day.